Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into something a little dark. We're talking about psychological manipulation. We're going to pull back the curtain on the playbook people use to control and influence you. And trust me, it's not always for your own good.
We all know someone like this, right? Someone who just gets people. They've got this high emotional intelligence, or EI, and they just glide through social situations. They can read a room, say the perfect thing, and they use it for good stuff, like helping people get along, understanding different points of view. It's an amazing skill to have.
But what if that same skill, that same deep understanding of what makes us tick, is used for something, darker? What happens when that empathy isn't about connecting, but about finding your weak spots to exploit them? That is where we step into the shadows, into the world of dark psychology.
So what is dark psychology, really? Now, it's super important to know this isn't some official field of science like, clinical psychology. It's more of a popular term for when someone takes psychological principles and weaponizes them. We're talking deception, coercion, manipulation, all to get what they want. And almost always, it's you who pays the price.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's crack open this manipulator's playbook and really look at the specific tactics they use. And the first one is probably the one you've heard of most. We're talking about gaslighting.
So, fun fact, well, not so fun. The name gaslighting actually comes from this old play from 1938. A husband messes with the gaslights in their house and then convinces his wife she's imagining it, that she's going crazy. And that's exactly the point of it. It's this really, really damaging technique where someone tries to just completely demolish your sense of reality. They make you doubt your own memories, your own perceptions, until you start thinking, am I the crazy one?
And you'll hear stuff just like this. Things like, you're just imagining things, or the classic, you're being way too sensitive. The goal is always the same, to flip the script and make you feel like you're the problem. It's a slow burn, but over time, it just crushes your self-worth.
Okay, so gaslighting is pretty blatant, right? It's about outright lies. But this next tactic, this one is so much sneakier because it actually uses the truth. It's called paltering. Now, what's so wild about paltering is that the person isn't technically lying to you. They're telling the truth, but it's a weaponized truth. They're giving you a true statement, but they're very carefully leaving out the one piece of information that changes, everything. Okay, look at this example right here. It's brilliant. Someone on a date says, oh yeah, my ex and I shared our social media passwords. Sounds super open and trusting, right? But what they don't tell you is that they only did it because of insane jealousy and zero trust. See? The statement was true, but the impression it gives is a complete lie.
All right, now for a tactic that feels amazing at first. It disguises itself as the perfect fairy tale romance. This is love bombing.
So imagine this. You meet someone and it's just a whirlwind. They're showering you with attention, compliments, gifts. They're calling you their soulmate after like 2 weeks. It's this non-stop flood of affection designed to sweep you off your feet and make you feel like the most special person in the world.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. It's not real. It's a setup. It's an investment, a strategy. They're getting you hooked on that high, so later, when they start pulling away or showing their controlling side, you'll do anything to get that initial feeling back.
So we just went from way too many compliments to, insults disguised as compliments. This tactic is called negging.
The whole idea here is to knock you down a peg. It's a backhanded compliment that's designed to make you feel just a little bit insecure. Why? Because if you feel insecure, you're more likely to try and win their approval. It puts them in a position of power.
And this is a perfect example. You're pretty cute for someone who doesn't take care of themselves. Ouch, right? It sounds like a compliment, but it's got that sting. It's meant to plant a tiny seed of doubt, making you think, wait, do I not take care of myself? I need to prove them wrong. So, who does this stuff? What kind of person actually uses this playbook on other people? Well, a lot of the research points to something called the dark triad of personality traits. It's made up of 3 things. First, you've got Machiavellianism. That's basically a fancy word for someone who's super manipulative and thinks the ends always justify the means. Then there's narcissism, which I'm sure you've heard of. It's that inflated sense of self-importance and a constant need for people to tell you how great you are. And finally, psychopathy, which is all about a total lack of empathy and acting impulsively. But it's not just them. Abusers, criminals, and sometimes even people who are just really anxious or moody might fall back on these tactics as a messed up way to cope. Okay, so knowing the plays is half the battle, right? But what's the defense?
Now that you can spot the game, how do you make sure you don't become a piece on their board?
It really boils down to three big things. Number one, do exactly what you're doing right now. Educate yourself. Seriously, just being able to put a name to something like paltering takes away so much of its power. Number two, set some hard boundaries. Know your limits, say what they are, and stick to them. No exceptions. And number three, this one might be the most important. Trust your gut. That little feeling in your stomach that says something's not right here, that's your alarm system. Don't you dare ignore it.
Look, at the end of the day, here's what it all comes down to. When you understand this playbook, you stop being a pawn. You're no longer playing their game without even knowing it. You get the power to see what's happening, call it out for what it is, and then you can just choose not to play. And that knowledge, that's your best defense.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. Now that you know the plays, how are you going to change the game? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.